Coming up on Look Today, well, we've got continuing coverage of Governor Cuomo's proposal to eliminate the New York State tip credit for the restaurant industry and the ramifications this could have on local businesses. And SUNY Adirondack's Board of Trustees recently adopted the Adirondack Agenda 2.0. More on that coming up. And Queensbury High School is undergoing a $40 million renovation project. I've got some of those details. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jay Hood Jackson, and this is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Kristen Hislop. She's co-director of the 40th Annual Freihofer's Run for Women. And we're joined by Jamie Mastriani. She's owner of I Run Local right here in Saratoga. And they're here to talk about the annual Freihofer Run for Women fundraiser. I also sit down with Holiday Hammond. She's co-chair of MLK Saratoga, and she's here to talk about the upcoming silent march and vigil to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That's happening this Wednesday. Plus, we got your weather for the Tri-North counties. But first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, we've got continuing coverage of Governor Cuomo's proposal to eliminate the New York State tip credit for the restaurant industry and the ramifications this could have on a lot of local businesses. Well, recently, the Department of Labor, in cooperation with the National Restaurant Association, brought forth a proposal that would allow restaurant owners to keep employee tips if those employees are at least making the minimum wage. Well, one issue had come to the forefront, questioning whether or not servers are reluctant to mention issues of improper conduct on the part of patrons if they're concerned about their tips. Well, we spoke to Paul Bracocoli. He's the owner of the Bullpen Tavern in Glens Falls.
He wants to push this through. He's using the Me Too movement, which is super important. He's trying to tie into that just to push his agenda, and it makes no sense. One has nothing to do with the other. Any responsible owner does not let his employees, male or female, be disrespected in any way, shape, or form. And if I ever feel like somebody's treating one of my female employees with disrespect in that regard, they're out the door in about 10 seconds. It doesn't take long, and any owner worth their salt is going to do the same thing.
I'd listen to owners like Paul on that subject. Well, we're going to be covering this extensively all week long, and we're going to talk to a number of different restaurants to get their opinions. Well, in other news, SUNY Adirondack's Board of Trustees recently adopted the Adirondack Agenda 2.0. Now, among the objectives for the plan are to increase students' success rates, the transfer rates, and the return rate for students to college in their second year. And we spoke to Dr. Christine Duffy about the school.
We started with the Adirondack Agenda back in 2014, and as we approach this next strategic planning process, we kind of took the cue from the technology world and said it's really Adirondack Agenda 2.0. So taking things to the next level, building on what accomplishments we've had so far, and then recognizing our future going forward.
Future of school. Switching from news to weather. Expect rain showers starting late tonight into tomorrow. So let's see how the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thanks, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponster with your first look weather update here on Look TV. Our national forecast tonight shows high pressure across much of our area with this cold front to the south. We also have a cold front to our northwest. From southeast Canada and the upper Midwest, temperatures tonight are going to drop into the upper 20s across much of the area, maybe mid-20s as well. Fort Edward will be down to 26, 25 in Glens Falls, and we'll be down to the mid-20s across much of the interior northeast, and with increasing clouds, southwest wind at about 5 or so miles per hour. We could see about 10 to a quarter inch of rain, 44 on your Tuesday, south wind at about 10 or so miles per hour. Our out-the-door forecast shows rain arriving with wind chills near 30, so a raw start to the day. Mid-30s will be the best we can do through the 8 a.m. hour. We're going to see a wet day on Wednesday, 55 the afternoon high, overnight low of 39, Thursday looks dry but cooler behind the cold front. Next chance of rain and snow on Friday. Dry over the weekend, but at best, highs in the 40s, lows in the lower to mid-20s. That was your first look weather on Look TV. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponster. Now I send it back to you, Jesse.
Thanks very much, Clarence. Okay, back to the news. Well, Queensbury High School is undergoing, you ready for this? A $40 million project. Now, this will be part of the 2020 Legacy Project, aptly named, by the way, because the class of 2020 will be the first ones to actually graduate from the renovated buildings. Well, state aid amounts to $26 million of that cost. The district is bonding the rest of the cost. Now, some of the facilities to be upgraded include the Arts Wing, the Media Center, new energy efficient windows are going to be installed, and other infrastructure upgrades. Now, we're going to be speaking to the superintendent of Queensbury Schools, Doug Huntley, on Wednesday. We'll have more for you then. Up next, I sit down with Kristen Hislop. She's co-director of the 40th annual Freihofer's Run for Women. And we're joined by Jamie Mastriani. She's owner of I Run Local right here in Saratoga. And they're here to talk about this annual race and fundraiser. I also sit down with Holly Hammond. She's co-director, co-chair of the MLK Saratoga. And she's here to talk about the upcoming silent march and vigil to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that's happening in downtown Saratoga this Wednesday. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. It's Monday, so we like to look ahead. We've got another real packed week here. Boston Spa robotics team is coming in. I hope they bring a robot. Guess what? That school won again. That robotics team is really something. Also, speaking of high schools, we've got students coming in this week from Saratoga, Glens Falls, and South Glens Falls to continue our conversation about gun safety issues. Jillian Facto is coming in for an organization called Earth's Last Straw. And I'm going to leave the suspense for Wednesday so you can find out what the heck that means. Teddy Foster, UPH, one of our favorite guests, is coming in this week to give us an update on what's going on at Universal Preservation Hall in Saratoga. And a very interesting interview we're doing this week with representatives from BOCES and SUNY Adirondack about early college education. We continue to be very intrigued by all of the moves that high schools and colleges and vocational institutions are taking to prepare students for early college education. Pretty fascinating stuff. All right, and tonight on Look TV, it's Beyond the Headlines and Tracks, our music program. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.